Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. It doesn't really matter when you're watching, but it's fabulous that you're with us again on the show Coffee with a Tornado. My guest today came from Plzeň. His name is Jan Čočolka, and we'll be talking about something that truly and without exaggeration moves the world, and that is artificial intelligence. Honza, hello. Welcome to the studio.
Hi, Pepa. Thanks for the invitation.
I said it's shaking the world, and we agree on that. You use the term game changer, while I use the Big Bang Theory because it's my favorite show, and I feel like a bit of a Big Bang has happened and is happening in many fields. People aren't necessarily born as someone who is good, even excellent in artificial intelligence. How did you get into it?
From a young age, I have been involved in IT technologies, and for the last 2 years, I have been intensely focused on AI, mainly because in recent years, I have made a living as a programmer. The skill that I acquired over years of flying was suddenly replaced by just having to write a prompt into some kind of GPT chat or something similar, and I had the codes available.
That's terrible, you know? Like for me, programming is definitely not an easy thing. I understand that it's really like a huge amount of things you have to learn, experiences you have to gain. And then some, gadget comes and it makes it, and snap. And as the classic says, programmers won't have anything to eat.
I tried to create some initial apps. It was great. Things that would have taken us about 14 days were done in 1 day. And it's not applicable for everything, but for specific segments of code. A great thing. And more or less, I gradually started getting deeper and deeper. From some basic chatbots, I began focusing on graphics. I started getting into video. I started focusing on music, melodies, and I started focusing on deepfake technology and FaceLab, which are things that have experienced such enormously dynamic development over the last year that what was possible with a photo a year ago is now possible with video.
I have a video of you where Putin is shaking Donald Trump's paw.
Well,
that's your
fine.
prank.
I used publicly available technologies that are accessible.
We won't spread this. This is
Even
just,
technologies I used for that are American. So yes, you can generate something like Donald Trump shaking hands with Xi Jinping, animate it like this, clone their voices similarly. So then you can input absolutely whatever you want in their speeches. So it is necessary for people to really realize with the advent of this technology, which will help us in many sectors, we also have one potential risk, and that is that any audiovisual recording is either very easily editable and worse, very easily generated. So I'm really able to simply put any person into any position, into any role, and put any text in their mouth in any language.
This is, of course, fear. Since we jumped it terribly, with your permission, I will return to the fact that in 2 years, you jumped on that train, and you jumped on it very well from what I saw. A regular person can handle it because, a regular person, I take it that the people who are trained professionals with computers are a bit different, and when a normal everyday computer user jump into it, of course I can do these things, but how user-friendly is it for a layperson?
Of course, I have a certain advantage in that I have been in IT since childhood. I do some things automatically, quickly, without thinking. However, practically the only thing you need is a chatbot, which today can, of course, also do translations very well. And at that moment, you could say that you really don't need anything else. Because where I don't know, it advises me. In some fields, it's really exponentially better than a human by working with an enormous amount of data. Certainly, typically, it might involve editing texts. When I simply have a company that sells product ABC and I want to know how to best bring that product to market, sell it most effectively, what to say about the product to the people to capture their interest, to evoke some emotion in them, then at that moment, such a tool is invaluable.
Especially when you do it for a long time, you get so-called professional blindness and explain something from the perspective of someone who knows it. And that is really disadvantageous.
Exactly.
And copyrights also won't have anything to eat. They already don't have any.
I think copywriting has been significantly more affected than professions like programmers, graphic designers, and so on, because there you really just choose the best options. with software or with multiple applications at once. That means with that one prompt, I have no problem sending it to Gemini, GPT, Copilot, or the cloud. I'll get some outputs from it. And
If Velichka dies.
so I already manually summarize and choose the parts I like the most, because when a person says it this way, it's as if you had four advisors, You don't just ask one person, but you ask four people. Each gives you their opinion, and you take something from that, or you make an average, or you make some kind of
In 2 years, something began that we can now call Pearson AI. What I, as a layperson, especially considering that many of our viewers who watch us are of my age or older, and I would like us to be able to explain to them in a simple way what such a person can do, because for many people, as I mentioned here, it's a big unknown, and unfortunately, in many cases, the world only chooses that level of communication. Now it's going to consume us all. Of course, it isn't like that, because it's like taking an axe. I can hit myself on the head with it, or chop wood for a fire.
With it. I consider all these tools as work aids. It's nothing more, nothing less than a work aid, meaning if I want to be efficient in something, I won't take a classic hammer in hand. I'll take an electric jackhammer, because I'll be done half an hour earlier, and it's exactly the same in the area of AI. That means at the moment, for example, when you devote myself to some online sales, online representation, and similar things, then suddenly I can, thanks to that, be not only many times faster, more efficient, but of course cheaper, and often with better sales or presentation results than if I were doing it all manually the old way. It's just like comparing how the mole was made in the 1970s versus how the Chinese are churning it out today. That I have some 3D models within some scene that I can animate and so on, that I don't have to draw one scene after another manually, which I would then animate in some way.
Actors in green suits with the dots, and you can simply create the whole thing yourself.
Completely. The tools are really advancing at such an incredible speed that my jaw stopped dropping a few months ago.
I have to say, it was a big surprise for me when we were talking, and now we're preparing some films, and there I often deal with everyone in the film. Filmmakers deal with the background or how you set up the scene. And in most cases, it is not relevant to what you have at your disposal, whether it's a historical film or just partially when you go into the past, or if something is in the way. Well, the classic model is that the filmmaker sets up a huge frame, stretches the green screen over it, and then clumsily fills it with computer-generated images on that green screen. News is done the same way, so that viewers understand that it's actually green behind the presenter. But you already said that I wouldn't need any hostage. That quite shocked me. You said that today we will get it there without it, so there will be an actor and something behind him. And now we're sitting here in so-called Maracanã. What else could it be?
We are in December 2024, so I'll say 98%. If a person focuses a lot, they will see the details, but we are talking about December 2024. This development, the way it progresses, could mean that in half a year or even a year, those technologies will really be at such a level that even a person who is dedicated to it will have trouble recognizing if it's fake or not.
So we can sit in an Italian cafe, even if we have stylization, we can sit fully or somewhere else. It will probably be necessary to very intensively create some control mechanisms, because we're back to that deep fake, which is for people who might not know the term. Actually something the creator makes with the intent to deceive someone. That means I take a politician I want to harm, and I present a politician somewhere in chains, which has already happened, or in some situation where I actually want to harm the politician or the person by creating a scenario, which will be animated, it will be a video recording, and there will be a situation of stealing a car.
Generally, with deep fakes, we have either the visual ones where I can replace a face quite easily. On any photograph or in any picture, a different face at the moment when the person overlaps in character so that they are similar to that person, then of course the output is all the more relevant. The same can be done with video. The first deepfake Sakamis can be made with voice too. And that means I usually only need a sequence of 15 seconds of voice. And of course, the longer the sequence and the more emotional factors included, the more accurate the results will be. But generally speaking, about 15 seconds is enough for me to have a fairly well-made voice clone. at that moment, of course, I can attach any eyes, any face, animate it, make it speak, and add that voice. So, of course, there lies the danger that not only is it great for creating various marketing materials, different movie scenes, and so on, but unfortunately, that is
It's the same as with the train. Yeah.
it's the same as with the
obviously.
train, simply. Yeah, one thing is to sit in the train and write, and another is to be on the tracks.
Won't have anything to eat because, sure.
Then
Thank
it's
you.
again about it won't be virtual, and you'll go see it live, and of course, nothing will ever replace that. Exactly.
And that's the good news, that we can return to it, that artificial intelligence won't devour us, that it's not, of course, something we should be completely afraid of. Well, even if we were afraid, it wouldn't do us much good, let's be honest.
Perhaps my personal opinion is we will get back more to the roots. That means that because everything, everywhere,
That will be exactly what will be on the screens can mostly be
everything can be more or less digitally created. So that person, because people a priori will go to live concerts again, will go to the theaters.
Beautifully, because maybe it's already high time. As I notice how many people live only in that virtual world. Renzi, at the end of our conversation, I'll reveal a bit that we can hint at here. So I will reveal a secret that we will introduce to our viewers and start presenting artificial intelligence and everything related to it in one special program, and that they will actually have the chance to see something that I think television doesn't offer much yet. They will encounter it in practice, whether in our broadcasts, in some programs we are preparing, or in what they will learn. And basically, we will introduce it to them and try to explain in a human way what it is, so that we don't end up in a position where that society will only receive information about how extremely dangerous it is, what a bogeyman it is.
Exactly. We would really show the practical possibilities of what it can really do today.
I am looking forward to it.
Well, I'll go to
Dear viewers, it is completely unbelievable. I am still a little bit surprised myself, and I can promise you that next year you will be surprised too. My guest today was Honza Chocholka. The entire show is available on our social media. You will find it there. Watch it because it will be worth it. And what's coming up will be in the year 2025. And I will look forward to you watching it. Honza, thank you for showing us the magic, and I look forward to seeing you in the new year and kicking things off in an incredible way. Because, as he rightly said, it's a game changer, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for your attention. Thanks. Bye.